Okay, I think I'm live. I'm here. I'm only 3 little minutes later. We've got sound, we've got a face, we've got a nice little frame, and most of all, we got some freaking amazing content for this week. Recap. Last week was all about just letting the stuff, creating space for letting the stuff that wasn't yet processed to bubble up to your consciousness so that you can open your eyes and see it. Not comfortable, not easy, but also really, really important. And from our perspective here in late December, we can review the year from a different eye. There's a lot of things we think we get through really well, and we do, but we don't realize exactly how much deeper the consequences are. Because usually we're really good at, surviving, at cutting off certain parts of ourselves so that we can get through it. But then with some hindsight, with perspective, we look back and we say, oh, that is not entirely processed. That isn't entirely clear in my system. Not a problem. And that's why we do these review processes every once in a while. Now, you might say, like, January 1st isn't any other day, and you're so right. You're so absolutely 100 million, quadrillion % right. Nothing magical happens when the calendar turns to 2021. What is magical is the work that you put into it. And if you're doing this month after month, if you're used to doing this with the moon cycle, more power to you. And we have an opportunity here to have a look back. So if you're here with me live, I'd love to hear, drop down who's here. Let's get some comments going. Let's make this interactive. I'm really excited to share what I want to share with you today. So let's get that going. We're going to pretend that there's a little ad right here. So it's just a really friendly reminder that the 3 big group programs that are running this winter are at 20% off until midnight tonight. So if you want to do that, please sign up. So we got Reiki 2, Chakra Journey, and Energy Healing Toolkit. I might circle back to talk about that more. All right, let's get into it. So now that we've done that looking back, now that we've done that clearing work, and I'm going to be like very, very, very real. I realize that many of you maybe didn't watch that first video, not a problem. Many of you probably didn't do the workbook, not a problem. Many of you didn't respond to the prompts I put in here, not a problem. What I've learned from my group programs is that the work, when I'm tapping in to what is happening collectively anyway, which I'm somehow pretty good at, this work is happening anyway. So it is likely that at the tail end of December, you have been looking back and you have seen where you're still stuck and you have noticed what this year's been like. So today I want to talk about this very simple principle. The principle is this: your brain is Teflon for the good, Velcro for the bad. This is a principle from a neuroscientist called Rick Hansen, who writes about this kind of thing. Excuse me 1 second. I had a string bean, and the string in the string bean is appropriate. I'm going to duck away. I'm back. Oh no, I'm out of focus. Let's see if I can refocus myself. No! The problem with this fancy tech is that it's fancy. So it doesn't always, there's too many options, too many things that can go wrong, including having a string bean in my mouth. All right, that'll have to be good enough. So our brains are Teflon for the good and Velcro for the bad. It's this neuroscience principle that for our survival, our brains are really good at ruminating, essentially, at bringing up the stuff that is problematic, that is not going aligned with our survival, the stuff that, if that goes wrong, it's a hell of a lot worse than if all the things that are going good continue to go good. It's just a survival principle. And I'm just going to fiddle with this a little bit more as it bothers me. I was good. Oh no. I'm sorry. Oh, hey, Lauren. So while I freaking do this, oh my God, this is so annoying. Hello, camera. I'm here. Focus on me. I'm the worst. Plus, I have more string bean. And you're sticking with me? Oh my God, that's crazy. Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. So once more, this is by Rick Hansen, a neuroscientist, and it's really this bias that we have. And if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. Going along your life, and there's a chance you fall into this huge abyss, and that chance will take your life away, which will take away all good things with it forever and ever and ever. Well, it's good for your brain to really make sure it remembers that, rather than this person is really funny, or there's some berries over there. It's still very important. But on the scale of things, it's pretty good. So what I've noticed is if you give a lot of space to the nervous system, it might start by just bubbling up the things that it views as a problem. So to clear and review a year, that's usually all we really need to do, and just pay attention to what comes up. But it's not the same as, like, it won't bubble up all the really, really, really good things. And as challenging and weird and different and huge changes that there were in 2020, it's really not that big of a deal for our brain. And so we need to actually work at gratitude and celebration and rewire our nervous system to come back into some semblance of safety. Like, to really tell our bodies and our whole system, you are so safe. You are so celebrated and worthy and miraculous, and you still absolutely have a say on what gets to happen in the next year. You get to create it. And so that is what I'm inviting us all into this week. Now, I want to be super, super honest with you. Gratitude is a real thing, okay? It was in my positive psychology classes, and when I was doing my master's in neuropsychology, it's in all the science, and it's really, really true. Gratitude, doing that as a daily practice, really, 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 really helped rewire your brain. And so that you're not so much Teflon for the good anymore. But the thing that I want to admit to you, it still makes my eyes roll. Not my best quality. I suck at gratitude. I'm not a naturally very grateful person. And when I practice it, I swear I am 33% happier. And it doesn't take long for me to get there. Like 3 days of writing 3 things that I'm grateful for every day. And my mood, improves. My appreciation for the little things improves. It's just such a small hack that our brains just need that like extra little boost. They just need that help. So I know I'm probably maybe one of the only ones who eye rolls at gratitude. I'm a little ashamed to admit it. Because I know a lot of you are awesome and you do have this practice. But I really want to invite you into this huge question of what are you grateful for this year? Who are you grateful for this year? Who brought you through? Who was there when you were having a tough time? Who did you get closer to this year? Who helped you? What helped you? And I want you to take a lot of time this week to sit down and ask those questions. Because what it's going to do is it's going to retrain your nervous system to look back at this year and see all the amazing things that it has brought with it. With every challenge comes an opportunity. And even if your perfectionist self is like, oh, well, I didn't ace that, you still probably did a hell of a lot better than you give yourself credit for. And you might not be fully grateful for this pandemic, and you might be grateful for it secretly. I've heard so many people say this to me. I'm kind of grateful for all the space. I'm kind of grateful for the big collective pause we're on. I'm kind of grateful for how it's led me to re-examine my priorities. And people say it with a hushed voice because, of course, we know this isn't something that on the ground, well, I don't know. We don't know anything. We really don't know anything. So if you're one of those hushed voices people, just know I see you. I'm one of you. I know at some points I asked myself, did we collectively all manifest this together? Of course, the way it was several months ago is not the way it is right now. Maybe it's a different story in our heads. But the gratitude, what flourished in your life because of these global changes? I became a pretty great baker, and I overcame my super enormous block aversion of doing really sweet things for people, like bringing them brownies and baking people bread. I overcame my fear of calling my grandfather, a man that I'm not super close to, just having grown up on a different continent than where he lives. But I called him yesterday, and I'm so grateful for what a freaking boss he is on the phone. He just handles that like a pro. So what did it allow for? What did it give you? Maybe a lot of healing, maybe a lot of clearing, maybe a lot of love. So I'm going to come in here and bug you this week about that. To ramp that up all together. What are you grateful for? And then the next thing I want you to do is slightly different. It sounds almost the same, but it's different. And that is celebrate. So whereas great gratitude is more for sort of what you're receiving and kind of proving to your brain that the universe is an abundant, loving, safe place. Celebrating is owning your power. Celebrating is owning how freaking glorious you are. And you can celebrate yourself for, you know what? The whole month of October, I got up from bed at the time I decided I was getting up from bed, and I put on clothes, and I celebrate myself for that. It might be something tiny like that, and it might be something huge. This is the year I said no to my drug dependency. Or this is the year I said no to my codependent behaviors. Those things are huge. And I want you to celebrate the hell out of that for yourself. The whole thing. Because when we're met with challenge, it's like I said in the beginning, like we kind of scramble and we do what we can do and we kind of survive through it. And then we're maybe like arriving on the other side all patched with bandages and wounds and feeling like super wobbly on the other side. And then we can have one or two reactions. One like, oh, that was hard, poor me. And then maybe do some healing and some loving and some caring. And there's also the possibility that you'd say, fuck yeah, I did it. I got through that, and that was hard. And I got through that. I met that challenge and I rose to the occasion. Sure, I didn't do that perfectly. Sure, there's a lot of ways that I could have done that more gracefully, but I grew here. I bust out of my shell and I rose to the occasion. I met the moment. And I want you to celebrate that. I want you to own it, because when you own it and when you know it inside of yourself, like really, really, really know it, inhabit it, embody it, you have that for the rest of your life. It gets imprinted in your energy system, it gets imprinted in your nervous system. It becomes who you are. And if this year has been challenging, I am absolutely certain you built some strength this year. And that is worth celebrating. 100%. So I want you to come up with all of that. I want you to come up with a way to ritualize that celebration. I'm going to have one suggestion for you in the workbook. I'll tell you what it is, but you can do that in so many ways. You can light a candle and sing yourself a song. You can make yourself a specifically delicious cupcake and call that I am celebrating myself. Just doing something to ritualize it and something to anchor it in. And with these holidays that are also completely different and uncertain, and a lot of us are spending them in way smaller family units, if not alone, then you get to choose what little rituals you want to bring in. You get to rewrite that story as well. So I invite you to celebrate yourself for what happened this year. And I invite you to do this really, really clearly, like write it out, but also let it work on you all week. Let yourself keep thinking of new things you're grateful for and new things you celebrate. My wish is for us all, and maybe we can do that in the group together if you're down. My wish is for us all, let's say, to come up with 300. I'm being super ambitious considering there's like not that many people live, but I know you'll catch the replay. I want us to get to a list of 300 things we can celebrate or be grateful for collectively. So there's 500 in here. So if each person just writes a 2/3 of a thing, we did it. But let's say, just 10 people really fully participate. I think we can come up with 30 each. So if you're watching the replay, if you're here now live and you're up for it, raise 2 hands in the air and do a little dance. Because I'm up for it. Because I need this challenge, because I told you I suck at this naturally. I'm not good at it. I really have to force myself to do it. So the practice that I want to invite you into to celebrate is dancing. Throw a dance party. I am such a fan of this because it gets the whole body involved. It engages the senses. It engages your whole being. So what you can do is just set maybe 1 to 3 songs. Just choose them carefully and then intend to let your body express your gratitude, your joy, and your celebration. Because we know it's arbitrary, but you did make it to the end of 2020. I mean, it's arbitrary in the way that 2020, December 31st is just another day on the calendar. And we didn't know what was going to turn out this year. And I don't want to have this whole video about gratitude and celebration without getting really, really real and heartfelt and acknowledging that there are many of us that have lost some people, health, a sense of security, family, ties. This has been a really rough year for some of us. And even within that, I know there's things to celebrate. I know there are things to be grateful for. And that is why I'm giving this exercise even more for you. If you're in the middle of it, if you're in the middle of grieving, leave this for another day, okay? There's times to do this kind of work. And when you're in the middle of a suffering, sometimes it's good to ask these questions, but sometimes they're just guilt-inducing and anxiety-provoking. So if that is you, just go through your process. And when you're on the other side, when you're on the other side of the tunnel, come back to this. But to all of you who have lost loved ones, to all of you who have lost mental health, to all of you who have lost friendships or close ties, I honor you in your grief. I honor you in your pain. And this process is going to be challenging and yet important. So on that, let me just see who caught the tail end of this, who is here. Do you have any questions? How was the last week? Yeah. And who's going to do a dance party? I don't think I'm going to invite us all to to make videos of ourselves. But if you do, I can think of some of you who might be brave enough. I would love that. You would inspire and encourage so many with that. Yeah. So, okay, so if you're just showing up now, that is awesome because I'm at the end of this, but this means we can just talk. It's kind of Q&A time. My question for you is, where are you at? What's up? Are you up for some gratitude and celebration this week? How can I serve if I can serve? And as I wait for you to type, I saw that Matt, who was here in the beginning, wrote. So he said, thank you for the work you're doing, the videos you're sharing. I wish I could take your courses right now. I've been enjoying the videos and I'm trying to catch up on them all. Amazing, Matt. That is fantastic. If right now is not the good time for courses, I get it. I will probably be around in some form or another for a while. So no stress. And things will probably really shake up as of this summer. So if you want to work with me this winter or before this summer, don't assume everything's just going to be there all the time. Just a little hint. Eric and Chantal, you both know what I'm talking about. And Lauren, you too. Hi, Chantal. Hi, Eric. So how are you? What is going on in your worlds? And yeah, so the friendly reminder again is that the courses that are available this winter are the Energy Healing Toolkit. So if you're a practitioner of energy healing, tarot, osteopathy, if you work with energetics in any way and you want to kind of dig a bit deeper, So you want to start leading people into inner child healing, or learn to fine-tune your listening, to listen to the whole person and their energy as well as to their words. If you want to really, really learn to master boundaries and helping others master their boundaries, the Energy Healing Toolkit is really for you. Eric, yeah, you're down for classes. I love learning. I love learning also. Lifelong love affair. So maybe we can chat, see if there's something that fits for you. I know that for you, Eric, Reiki 2, you've already done. For you too, Chantal. But Reiki 2, if you've done Reiki 1 during this pandemic, I have reinvented how to teach Reiki 2 online. Thanks to my Soft and True, thanks to all the online classes I've offered over the years. I think it's going to be really, 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 really good. A mix of videos for you to have as a reference, of actual like one-on-one time, and most of it is going to be experiential again. Because in Reiki 2, what's really cool is we can start sending Reiki through space and time. So we don't need to be in a physical room together to share Reiki energy. So as of week 1, we're going to look at the symbol that allows us to access the space and time keys. So you're going to be sharing Reiki and practicing on each other as of class 1. And then there's the chakra journey. If you're wanting to start your 2020 with a structure and a discipline and self-discovery, the chakras offers such an amazing framework. So even if you think you know them, of course you know them, you're invited to live them, and you're invited to sort of have week by week go through the different energetics of the chakras. And if you've done this course with me before, you get $150 off the group program. I'm probably not going to offer the group program again, but it's there. So somewhere in the group, you can find all of those details. So Chantal says, there's a shift that wants to happen for me, a profound click that I just can't seem to do. And I think it has to do with surrendering. I feel it's a great time for that. Yeah, there's something really magical. I've been feeling around the solstice, around these really, really dark nights, dark times, a lot of quiet. That always reminds me of Harry Potter. So if you're a total Harry Potter nerd like I am, you'll remember that in the first book, at the end, they have all these different trials they have to go through, right? And the first one is they fall into this web of, I don't remember what the plant is called, but it's this devil's snare. And it's this plant that they fall into, and it doesn't like fire, so you can kind of put your magic wand on lumos or fire, make a spark. Or also, the more you fight it, the more it grips on. And I always have that image for surrendering. And I've had it a lot these last few days. And that has really shifted my mood, shifted a lot for me. Just letting yourself go into total stillness. Not fighting your own resistance. Not resisting your process. And letting yourself kind of slip out of your current grid of existence. That's what I'm feeling for myself. It's like my life was kind of a certain grid. And this year has kind of twisted and turned and changed that grid. But it feels like also there's like a whole other grid coming in. And so just disengaging with this one. Yeah, like Devil's Snare. Yeah, you know that reference. Yeah. I feel really optimistic about the potency of the medicine that right now is offering us. Yeah, so anything else? How are you, Eric? What's going on for you? So I'm gonna just wait a few more moments. By the way, I'm going to be collaborating with Eric next month. He does these wonderful, I haven't been to one yet, so I can't say they're wonderful. I don't know. I think they are. New moon and full moon meditations, both in English and French. And good, I'm glad to hear that. He's great. Yeah, and I will be there in late January and February with him. So, okay, that's it. Let's get this week of celebration gratitude started. Thank you for being here. If you came on the tail end, of course, I invite you to watch from the beginning. And if you catch the replay, and they're amazing, good. If you happen to catch the replay and you have questions for me, if anything is unclear, please ask for clarification. I'm all for it. If you have any follow-up questions, I'm here. Takeaway, the brain is like Teflon for the good and Velcro for the bad. And we have the power to change that by practicing. Happy holidays to everyone. Yes. Thank you, Eric. Happy holidays to all of you. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time. Whatever it is that you end up doing in this holiday season. Bye.